Random critical hits. They're pretty bad. But before I get into why they're bad, let's have a little history lesson. Crits have existed since the release of the Orange Box, way back in 2007, alongside the other hit Valve games such as Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and 2, Portal, and of course, the beloved Team Fortress 2. In this video, I'm going to be talking about three things: how crits work, why they're hated, and the arguments brought up against random crits. So let's begin. Cited from the TF2 official wiki, random crits have a base chance of 2%, meaning you have a 2% chance to get a crit out of 98% chance you just shoot a normal bullet or projectile. This is modified by a bonus percentage based on how much damage the player has done in the last 20 seconds, which scales from 0%, which is 0 damage, and 10% at 100 damage. In fact, in the map Grapple Pit, you can find one of the developer commentaries that says this:
critical hits are one of the features that resulted from our focus on pacing. The critical hit system attempts to slightly influence the highs and lows of the game by increasing the chance of a critical hit based upon the player's recent performance. In summary, the better you're doing, the more likely you'll continue to do well. This helps create those rare high moments where a single player goes on a rampage and gets 3 or 4 kills in rapid succession.
Melee crits work very, very differently than primary and secondary crits. Since the people at Valve wanted to encourage more melee combat and in-their-face style of combat, their base critical hit chance is a whopping 15%. That's a staggering 650% increase. That's big.
That's what she said!
Going back to chance, their crit changes... Why the f*** did I write that? Going back to chance, their crit chances fluctuate too, based on how much damage that player has done in the last 20 seconds. 0%? 45%, meaning a player has done 800 damage or more in the last 20 seconds. I like this because it's kind of high risk, high reward, you know? Like running into a batch of enemies swinging your bat like hell to impressively die like a moron. But whenever you catch that one straggler off guard, maybe it feels amazing to hit him with a crit. Encouraging this kind of f*** it we ball playstyle, I think is great. It makes you just act dumb and go in, or think methodically about your next move like you're an assassin in the shadows. Even if the melee crits seem unfair at times. I'm looking at you, medic. If you want a more in-depth look at the accurate values, here's the graph from the TF2 official wiki.
The main reason that random crits are hated is due to the luck aspect of it. TF2 is very competitive and skill-based. Get the hell out of the frame, Pyro, I'm making a video.
As
Dave
was saying, TF2 is a very competitive and skill-based game, and adding a multiplier that makes rockets go from 90 damage to fucking 270 is not fair. I forgot to mention this earlier, but there's no damage wall for crits either. A normal rocket will do 24 damage long range at best, but with crits the damage is static. From asking around multiple experienced players and casual, they all basically just said the same thing. They said that they dislike random crits because it introduces randomness, shocker, to a game where it would otherwise favor the skill of the player rather than how lucky they are. And I agree. When you have a game that mainly thrives on your own skill, it sucks when you get annihilated by a crit that was caused by a roll of a die. You know what, let's look at an example before continuing. Right here you see Michael. Michael has been playing the game since 2010. He's very skilled and has his own professional team. He gets into casual just to goof around and chill out, but he does play seriously sometimes. This is Gonzalez. Gonzalez just installed TF2 and has no idea what he's doing. He saw his cousin play it at his house and begged his mom to install it for him so he can play the cool cartoony shooter game. He has virtually no video game experience aside from the 3 hours of Roblox he's allowed to play after school. Let's pretend that Michael and Gonzalez are in TF2, and they end up facing off in a 1v1 situation. Michael shoots Gonzalez for 180 damage. Not instantly killing him, but knocking him down to 20 health. Gonzalez then shoots one rocket that does 270 damage, killing Michael instantly. you played TF2, you know that Michael should have won. He's the more experienced player and has more hours under his belt, therefore, he's a better player. But by introducing a random crit, the luck overrides the skill factor, making it completely unfair to fight against. There are like a lot of ideas on how to fix crits and arguments on why we should keep them. So much so that if I cover them all in this one video, it would be 30 minutes. And I personally don't want to sit here for an entire day, so I'll only talk about the 4 that I see the most. Yes and no. It is true that you can break stamina by getting a crit and wiping out a bunch of enemies, but you can already do that without the use of crits. Reddit user by the name of KDX3_ posted this about crits on Reddit.
It's a double-edged sword. An RNG crit that kills 2 to 3 people can definitely let your team establish ground and push up. At the same time, you could finally be moving in after being in a stalemate for the whole game, and after all of the hard work that you and your team did to push in. A random soldier on red could fire a rocket at the choke you're pushing at, and turns out it's an RNG crocket and you now get to die to something that's completely out of your control.
If you were transported back in 2007 and the team asked you how to solve stalemates, what would you suggest? Or are stalemates inevitable?
There's actually already a mechanic that solves stalemates that no other game has done, and that's called Ubercharge. At the same time, Valve also encourages stalemates with engineer stacking and repairing/upgrading each other's buildings, and with how effective Pyro Air Blast is at knocking an entire Uber away with 1/2 air blasts. Sniper being the only long-range engagement class, while everyone else's damage is only useful at close to mid-range.
They absolutely do the opposite. A new player being significantly less experienced in the game is much more likely to miss their rocket, shot, sticky, grenade, whatever, whereas an experienced player will more often than not land theirs. Considering this, as well as the fact that a random crit chance ramps up with damage done, which again, experienced players will reap the benefits of, means that random crits benefit experienced players to a significantly higher degree than newer players. Once the new player actually does hit a crit and kill someone, they'll think that whatever they did worked, and they should do it again without knowing it was complete luck and with no input from the player. It implements bad behavior and pushes them farther from getting better at TF2. Good God, my sweet summer child, you have no idea how wrong that argument is. For starters, 1. Competitive mode is locked behind a paywall. It costs $4.99 USD plus tax. 2. It takes hours for you to find a match, and even when you do, it's so broken you rarely even get to play it. 3. Most people just want to enjoy casual without the RNG. Getting killed by a less skilled player solely because they happen to get a random crit is bull. 4. The only way to play competitive mode in TF2 without sitting in a queue for hours is to go to a third-party website such as CompTF2, RGL.GG, and the list goes on. And as I said in my third point, some people just want to enjoy casual without the RNG in a skill-dominated game. How? Most of the weapons in TF2 are balanced. Either way, weapons should not be balanced with random crits in mind. Depending on what class you play, you're already dishing out enough damage anyways. Weapons in Team Fortress 2 are balanced around their base stats, not their crit chance. This is why weapons like the rocket launcher and scattergun are so powerful, even without the critical hits. This means that if someday that one janitor in the Valve office dusts off that computer to remove random crits, it would affect nothing. This video took me a while to write, edit, and collect footage, so I appreciate all 12 of you who actually watch my videos. This is really fun to make, and I'd be happy to do more videos like this if this does good. Also, I'm sorry if I sound awkward throughout the entire video. I've never stood in front of a mic and talked in video format before. It's usually just in games or in Discord that I'm talking. So I'm sorry if I sound nervous, anxious, or just dumb. And I stutter a lot, so I'm sorry as well. So I just wanted to do this because I wanted to see if this would work. You know, like a stab in the dark, kind of. So thank you for watching this, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch this. And I promise, if this does good, there are more videos to come like this. Bye-bye.